all at the
Already,
same time.
man. Already, man. So,
Yeah.
so let's get it cracking, man. My man I told y'all to subscribe, rock with us. So now let's get into the real topics. First topic, man. It's been about time that we saw any kind of real report, pen to paper, any of that concerning one Mr. Gary Russell Jr. It sounds like he is now lined up a January 22nd bout against the Manny Pacquiao protege, Magsayo. All right. And it looks like they are about to have a showdown. Now, I don't know if you all saw Mark's previous fight. It wasn't going too well for him. It wasn't going well for him at all. But somehow in the 10th round, he ended up pulling out a crazy knockout of his opponent. That lines him up now as being the mandatory challenger to none other than Mr. Gary Russell Jr. Now, Mr. Gary Russell Jr., we know that I believe they said on average he's only fought one time a year, man. Going back the past number of years, only one time a year. They say the last time Mr. Gary Russell Jr. fought twice, bruh, it was in 2014. Dang. So we're going on a long time of him being inactive. He's now 33 years old. The young challenger that he's about to face is 26. So Q, tell me, what do you expect after such a long layoff? What do you expect to see? Does Mr. Gary Russell Jr., after all this time, man, does he still have it?
No doubt, man. I think Mr. Gary Russell Jr. still has it, man, you know, because he's from a real deal fighting family, if you ever heard of one. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
The Russell family. I think they might have 4 brothers that I think all of them named Gary Russell.
I think all of them. I think the pops,
Gary
everybody.
Russell, Gary this
it's
Russell,
different
Gary
variations. Like one of them, like
I mean,
Gary
their father
Antoine Russell.
is
It's different variations. But yeah,
of a father trainer. You know, what family. They're from a family of fighting, and they always active, whether in the ring or out the ring, man. So I just feel like Mr. Gary Russell Jr. will be ready, and I'm very excited about this fight. I saw it, and you know, I even looked at everything. I looked at flights. I couldn't find one. It's Atlantic City, man.
Right,
January
right.
22nd in Atlantic City. Anyways, and matter of fact, I even saw Mark Magsayo fight live. You know what I'm saying? In the Pacquiao, you got undercard, which was crazy. That fight was. I think I remember texting you and brother J Box, man, that this man might have stole the show with a knockout. I said it was a possible knockout of the year.
Right.
You know, and I think it was one of the candidates. You know what I'm saying? Which we'll get in that a little later. But anyways, I expect Mr. Gary Russell Jr. to one, as long as he's too much ring rust, his movement and his speed still there. Because I mean, his boxing IQ, and he's not a person that's going to just stand there and get hit. Because Mark Magsayo has a lot of power. You know, he is a Pacquiao protege, but he's not Pacquiao. You know what I'm saying?
At all.
Knockout, 31 fights, something similar to that. But he's a lot more orthodox and a lot more. He's a lot stiffer. He's not as fluid and as awkward as Pacquiao. But he does have. I see he throw triple left hooks. You know, he got some crazy combos and some decent speed. You know what I'm saying? And bursts. But I think Mr. Gary Russell Jr. will be far too much for him. And Mr. Gary Russell Jr. also has fought the higher level of competition. But who knows, man? You know, like I say, like we talk about inactivity. You know what I'm saying? When you've been inactive, you know, anything can happen. But bearing that, you know, because he got off the canvas in the same fight you're talking about. You know, it was back.
Right, exactly. He got knocked down by Julio Ceja. Yeah, he
was down in the cards, and you know. And also, Mr. Gary Russell Jr. is also the longest reigning champion on any level. I think he had his belt, the WBC featherweight title since 2015. So he's the longest reigning champion, period. You know what I'm saying? But I think he should win this fight. I believe it'll be a UD. You know what I'm saying? I think he goes to the decision. I won't be surprised if he was able to. I really won't be surprised with the blistering speed Mr. Gary Russell has. I mean, he don't have the crazy one-punch power. Right. But the accumulation, if he could get a TKO stop, that's what I got for it, brother. How you feel about it?
No, I agree with you wholeheartedly, man. I like how you let the people know that while Mark Magsayo is promoted by Manny Pacquiao, make no mistake, people, he's far from a Manny Pacquiao. So even though he's under that banner, don't expect to see him go in the ring and just be able to easily blast a Gary Russell Jr. I agree with you. Like in the last fight with the Julio Cesar fight, you could argue that maybe Mark Magsayo might have even been down in that fight, like down on the cards when he got that stoppage. So I think he has a lot of holes in his game that I expect Gary Russell to exploit. I think at 33 years of age, man, I think he still has enough in the tank that he's far from washed. You know, I'm assuming that he's been taking care of his body. He's been taking care of himself. So I think he'll be able to get in the ring, man, and outbox Mark Magsayo. But nevertheless, man, I'm happy just to see Gary Russell Jr. back in the ring because a lot of boxing fans have been calling for him for a while, man. We've seen him on IG. We've seen him talking to people, running up on people at fights over the years.
Everybody.
Everybody.
Higher weight classes,
Right. Everybody. So
130, 135. Crazy.
Right. So it'll be interesting to see, man, in a few weeks from now, man, what we get from him. So now let's get into topic. Oh, you got one more thing? Go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
Let's say he go through there and blast Mark Magsayo, right? He go through there get a win and look impressive. What would you like to see next? Because I want to know if he go in there and handle his assignment. You know what I'm saying? What will this it's the beginning of the year, so you can fight twice for the first time since 2014. Who would that opponent be if you could pick one? You know what I'm saying? Like for a big fight, because I want to see him in a mega fight.
Hey, I'm gonna be honest with you. The fight that I really want to see him get with an opponent would be actually Shakur Stevenson.
Ooh,
I'm gonna keep it real with y'all. I really think that him and Shakur
would
make for a excellent fight at 130. I think that would be absolutely an excellent fight at 130. I don't know at this point if he'll be able to get that get back against Loma. Because a lot of people remember that's one of a loss that he really does. He wants to avenge that loss, but I don't think Loma's going back down that road right now. But I'm gonna be honest, man. I want to see him and Shakur Stevenson. I don't hear enough people talking about that fight, and it probably is due to Gary Russell's inactivity. But to your point, Q, if he comes out with a spectacular showing that he's back, I would love to see a 130-pound showdown between Gary Russell Jr. and the young bull Shakur Stevenson.
Okay, so that's Shakur. That's definitely a fight. That's a mega fight. That's huge. But I would like to see him in prime time on Showtime, man. Mr. Chris Colbert. You know what I'm saying? I like to see that
that's a good one.
And that's another one that he had called out. He ain't sparing nobody. You know what I'm saying? So, that it'll be. I just want to see him in there with a name, and I just feel like that'll be a good draw either way. You know what I'm saying? No doubt. Yep.